Doesn't understand. I'm just a little too old to be learning the rules of the game.
Toronto hosted a weekend-long folk festival on Centre Island named Northwinds. It was a peaceful scene. No riots, no studs, no demons, no perforated eardrums. By all appearances, there's a resurgence of interest in folk music these days, although enthusiasts insist it's not so much a revival as a continuation of what was simply ignored by the mega media for the past 10 years. One of the new groups who played Northwinds was the Washington Squares. They're from Greenwich Village. They've been in bands like Nervous Rex, Television, and The Waitresses, and they were the first folk band featured on MTV in the States.
Baby, baby, I thought I'd done it all. Baby, baby, I thought I'd done it all.
We have a number of projects that we're trying to assist the folk community with. One is called the Sloop Dirty Water, which we sail up and down the Hudson River, throwing waste out so that the sloop Clearwater can help clean it.
See, we try to keep Pete Seeger from becoming sedentary. And another one of our projects is our kitchen. It's a science project. Each one of us is growing sort of moldy things. We look in the fridge every day and see what color they've turned.
Musically speaking, I don't want to stray from the subject, you know. It seems to me that some of the bands you've been from, the Nervous Rex and Television and so on, were very noisy, aggressive bands. And what's happening to you now? Are you mellowing out in your middle age?
Daniel, I'm glad you asked that question. We play rock folk music. That is folk music that is given more energy and drive and va-boom.
As
God,
opposed,
that's well stated.
Well, it's like this. In the 60s, people played folk rock, which was, we figure, is just rock music played softly. We play rock folk, which is folk music played loudly. Now, you didn't get to see that much of us, but we actually, in our real show, do add a lot of the rock and roll elements. We haven't mellowed a bit. We've just switched to acoustic instruments because we feel that we want to bring back a real sort of wood on metal type of sound.
Also opened up for acts like Joan Jett in the States, playing what we call rock folk, which is traditional folk songs played loud, 20,000 watts of folk music with acoustics. And if everyone's singing If I Had a Hammer, all these kids on Angel Dust going, yeah, all right.
We also write our own songs, though. I mean, most of the material in our sets has been written by the Washington Squares. We all write songs. So we're not just trying to be like a Sha-Na-Na, we're just the Squares.
We're trying to do is be an evolutionary step in folk music and rock and roll music, because primordial slime aside, I think that the music, the dance music got very sterile, and there was no message in it, and it got very boring. And we wanted to do something that could say something to our generation, whoever they may be. All of you accountants out there, hello.
Hey, everybody.
And we wanted to say something. We wanted to do something with expanding our harmonic sense. We wanted to do something pretty, and that required some musical talent. But yet we wanted to do it balls up.
Folk is supposedly the music of the people. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be like this little underground camps, people preserving it here and there at little spotty folk festivals. It was supposed to be out there, and we're trying to. It's a mass form. We're trying to put it back where it belongs. That's all.
Lay down your arms, I want to use them. Lay down your arms, baby, just don't seem that I can lose them. Lay down your arms, lay down your arms, lay down your arms. Lay down your arms, I want to know them. Down your arms, baby, just don't turn away from them. Lay down your arms, lay down your arms, lay down your arms.
Suzanne Vega, who has just released her first album and video, also played at the Northwinds Festival. She's a New Yorker who got her start at the famous Folk City Club in Manhattan and who has earned the ravest of rave reviews everywhere.
We had our neighborhood girl. She used to hang out in front of McKinsey's bar, and we were interested in her and her clientele. We just wonder where she's gone. Oh, she's gone. Yes, she's gone, gone, gone. Yes, she's gone, gone, gone. I think I know your neighborhood girl. She lives on my street now with eyes of ice. I've seen her in the morning when she is walking in the sun, and I always thought that she looked kind of nice. She spoke to me once at a party, I think, and I thought at the time that she had had too much to drink, because she said to me, there's a backbone gone and I've got to get it back before going on.
I think folk music is something that has continued since the 60s, and I guess I mean it more in the way that Dylan started a style, I guess, of experimentation with lyrics and with his own personal feeling and expression. And so I think there's a lot of singer-songwriters who are still doing that, who are still kind of taking chances. He kind of opened the door, and maybe the rest of us are still on that path, only it hasn't been fashionable in the last 10 or 15 years.
Maybe this new interest in folk is really coming from the generation who filled the 60s, the heart of the baby boom. They just went into the woodwork for a while, and now are finally coming back and saying, we're not embarrassed to listen to the hit parade, but we want it our way. We want to listen to our kind of music.
I'm sure that's some of it. The other thing is that there are a lot of kids today who are thinking and who are curious and who are experimental. I mean, just as any kid is or any adolescent is, and I was that way when I was 15. And I wanted music that would be interesting and that would speak to me. And I guess I listened to Leonard Cohen, and I listened to Dylan and Simon and Garfunkel. And I think there's a lot of kids who feel that way now. And punk has kind of turned again to be a chic thing. So maybe now they're looking for the underground thing, and folk has had to go underground for a long time because it just wasn't getting any money or any support. What I really admired about the new wave thing and about a lot of punk bands was that there wasn't this kind of wallowing self-pity. There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of self-destruction. There was a lot of energy and strange things happening. But you didn't have people sitting and becoming endlessly introverted. And I guess that's the kind of tone that I admire, kind of straightforward, expressing yourself without making it too gooey with your own stuff. You know, that's what I admire, and that's what I think might have been lacking from some singer-songwriters. Some people feel that, all right, we're going to write personally now, so that means you just open up your diary and just fill up your songs with all kinds of stuff, which I prefer not to do, and I prefer to make it a little more, I don't know, objective or almost geometric, or kind of, I prefer to use the ideas instead of the actual sentiment of it.
And even if I am in love with you, all this to say, what's it to you? Observe the blood, the rose tattoo of the fingerprints on me from you. Other